Josh Levi is a singer-songwriter from Houston, Texas. He first gained attention for his role in the NBC TV series Friday Night Lights. He then gained further prominence as a finalist on the third season of The X Factor. In 2021, he signed to Issa Rae's Raedio and Atlantic Records. Josh then voiced the character of Aaron Z from the fictional boy band Four Town in the Pixar animated film Turning Red, which earned him his first Billboard Hot 100 charting hit with Billie Eilish. He was then nominated for his first Grammy due to this track's success. This is Josh Levi. Very, very special guest today. One of my favorite people in the whole world, Josh Levi. I have been looking forward to this episode for a long time. Thank you so much for taking the time, Josh. Welcome.
What it do, man? I'm happy to be here. You're the man. And yeah, man, I'm really excited to be a part of this. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, how are you doing? It's 2023. We have a lot to dig into, but are you excited for this year?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. How are your cortisol levels?
Nah, man, I'm doing good. I'm grateful. I'm really, really grateful these days. Of course, I have like a bunch of ambitions and goals and aspirations and crazy shit I'd like to accomplish. Wait, can I cuss?
Absolutely not. You're fired. This is over. We're done. No, yeah, you can cuss. You can cuss.
I'm still gonna try not to. But yeah, man, I'm really excited for this year. I'm gonna give it my all. I see so many things that I'd like to do, but I'm also just taking it day by day and being super, super grateful as if tomorrow isn't even a thing. So that's kind of where my head is at, man.
Amazing. Well, one of the reasons I love, working with you so much is because you're so directly involved with the process. You're not one of those artists or people that just leaves it up to a bunch of other people to do the work. Like, you are involved in every single detail, every single aspect. That's why, at the end of the day, it's your vision. It's you're saying what you want to say and creating art that you want to create. And that's I feel like that's an important step for all artists, is to really be involved in all aspects of the art. So are you going to continue that trend moving forward? Are you going to be, maybe you're going to direct a music video this year yourself, or how does that going to go this year?
I'm sure I'll still be directing stuff and doing all that. Honestly, man, it's in my chemistry. It's innately in me to be super hands-on with everything that has my name on it. I don't know why. It's just like, to me, it's just how it's supposed to go. Like, I don't know a way to not do it like that. In any world, any universe where something isn't doesn't have the integrity or doesn't connect with who I am is a nightmare to me and a jump scare. Uh, that is like I just did an interview the other day and damn, I wish I had like it at the top of my head, but they asked me like how important it is for me to be super invested into all the details. And I think I responded by saying, like, that's the only way I know how to do it. And by not doing that, I think you leave opportunity and you open up an opportunity to be someone that you're not. And that is like my actual biggest fear. So yeah, I'm committed to like doing everything that feels really good to me. I understand, how the business goes and how all this shit goes, but at the end of the day, like I really do have a vision, and I'm really loyal to that and committed to that for sure.
Well, I'm so excited to see the Josh Levi world grow and expand and flourish this year. But even though you've had a lot of accomplishments, even in the last 6 months, even, I want to go back, because you are not new to this creative world, this music world. You've been in it for a long time, since you were really young. When did you move? You're from Houston, right?
From Houston, Texas. I was born in Chicago.
Okay.
I moved to Houston when I was like maybe like a year, 1 or 2 years old. So super, super young. Like Chicago is just not like the ideal place to raise a family. And so I was raised and I grew up in Houston, Texas. Yep.
Amazing. And when did you move to LA?
I went to LA when I was like 13, 14. So a lot of people try to discredit me and be like, "You're not from Texas. You're not from Houston." And I'm like, "Nah," because my childhood years,
Yep.
my formative years were in Texas. Like that's where I learned about life. And then when I went to LA, like my teenage years and adulthood was like in LA, but no one stays in their like hometown forever. Either they go to college or like they like move at some point or whatever. Like that's kind of how I see it. Like my childhood years of like my first date, my first kiss, my first girlfriend, my first performance, my first everything, Texas.
So you got Texas in the blood, and I don't know. I just feel like even um, therapists or psychologists will say like the ages of two. I think it's 2 to 7, either 2 to 7 or 2 to 8, are like you're really like when your brain is the most malleable and you're learning the most. Um, and yeah, so I feel like for people to try to discredit anyone for that matter, to say, oh, you're not from Texas, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, like that, like you said, that's your formative years. That's when you're learning what it's like to be a human and a kid, and your imagination is just running free.
So
So yeah,
even
don't listen.
for music for me, like that's where I created my relationship with music began too. So I think that's why it's such a foundation for me, like as a place, because that's where I fell in love with um just every facet of music that makes up who I am now. Like I love bass and I love percussion and I love production and hip hop because of Houston. I love like R&B music and soulful voices, and because of Houston, because I grew up singing in church, and I was just always hearing like amazing voices all the time. Because that's just all my dad played, that's all my mom played. It was never like MTV on TV. It was never anything pop culture. It was always gospel. So that I think definitely just hearing amazing voices all the time helped me to just always hear excellence, which I'm really grateful for. And yeah, electric guitar is my favorite instrument, and I was around amazing musicians. Like all the things that make up me and that I now love started and began and was given birth from Houston.
Well, it's clear that those influences, had a big impact on you because you have an amazing voice. That's what a lot of people, know you for is your voice and your writing and all that. So, for you, to not be less influenced by the culture of things and more influenced by like the rawness of being gifted with such an amazing voice, really translates well now because I mean, your music is incredible and the writing is great too. So it's good that you were influenced by um, the real ones, the OGs of pure talent.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm grateful for that.
So you had a brief career too in the acting space too. Talk about that. You like what at what point did you decide, hey, music is for me? Like you tried the acting thing a little bit. Did you enjoy that? Did you not enjoy it? Like what ultimately led you to pursue strictly writing music and performing?
I love the last word you said. I love performing. So as a kid, like it really didn't matter what it was. I mean, yes, technically I was always the most passionate about music. Like that's something I feel like I could do in my sleep. It's just something that like was just a part of who I am. Like it wasn't even, it just is like breathing. Like music is just who I am. But I love performing. And so when you're young, like there's a lot of music opportunities, yes, but at moments and at times there's more opportunities to like act and do theater and like do things because people just love to see kids like entertain, and so for me there was just a lot more opportunities that came for me as a young kid to do shit in like TV and film, and so I just ran with it in hopes that it would lead me to like being the rock star that I still wanted to be. So my first acting job was this show Friday Night Lights on NBC for 2 seasons that shot in Austin, Texas. And that's kind of what led me back and forth to LA, because I had an acting agent in Texas. And then they were like, you should go to LA like here and there on one-offs to do auditions for Disney and Nickelodeon and like these big casting calls. And you should get an agent that's also in LA, just so that can be reaching out and doing things on your behalf there. So that's what led me to LA. And I would come back and forth from Texas to LA for like a week or a weekend or whatever, until I saw so much of the music and entertainment and like more rock star side of LA. And one day I told my mom, I think we gotta be there full time. Like we should be there. And she didn't have the answers or the money, I don't think. And she just was like, okay, cool. Well, let's figure it out. Let's pack and let's go. And then here we are now. So
I mean, it's amazing. I feel like anyone that has that innate feeling or gut feeling of when to jump on something or do something, you can't really explain it or put it into words. It's just a feeling that you have. And a lot of people, specifically that whether it's in music or even on my side with video editing or directors or such stuff like that, one of the first things that people talk about is like contracts and money and deals. Like that seems like it's always the awkward part of
yeah.
growing as an artist or as an individual. Is like, okay, when money is involved, some people might not know what to say or what to do or how deals are business deals are structured. A lot of
Mhm.
that is done by executives or people that are much older. And since you kind of got into that space at such a young age, how did you, or whether it was your mom or your agent, how did you know that you were being set up for success when it came to contracts or negotiating business deals at such a young age?
Well, fortunately, my mom is really smart, and that is a blessing, because she never signed me up, set me up to fail. She never signed me up to get into anything that she wasn't sure about, or she wasn't familiar with, or she just wasn't competent enough about or educated enough on. We always, which I still find myself doing, we always paced ourselves, because there were a lot of opportunities early on where like so many different deals and producers and executives wanted to do deals with me and just wanted to like go into business and collaborate on like in a business capacity, like as a kid. And here I am, like from Texas, like not in with any background, anyone from my family, any background in entertainment business, just being like, okay. And my mom's response and like tone and approach to everything was always like, thanks for showing interest and seeing what I see in my son. Just stand by and like let's figure this out. And so she kind of treated me like an adult, um, growing up, to where we just consulted about everything, and we talked everything through. We asked around and kind of just trusted our gut and trusted God, and to kind of navigate this whole world that we were so fresh and new in, to the point where we just collected knowledge and collected information. And then I eventually got a business degree, um, and went to college. I've been homeschooled my whole life, so I graduated early. And then my mom was like, why don't you just go ahead and get a degree? And I was like, I don't really need one, mom. And she was like, but you're so smart and you've excelled um, on the scholar side of things outside of creative and art and music. Why not have that knowledge on top of just your brain creatively to add to what you're doing? And so, like, when I was like 18, I pursued that and did an online like 3-year degree program at Full Sail University and got my business degree. So I'm grateful for that too, her pushing me to do that because now I have a little bit more of a knowledge. It was so expensive, but I have
Well, that's the education system today. It's, I do believe in it. Absolutely. I think that there's a tremendous amount of value in, having an education. And even like you just said, you can take those things that you learn and translate that into the deals that you're making now. And that way it's not like a just sign here or, oh, whatever, you handle it. Like you also, like, I feel like you are directly involved in that side of things just as much as you are in the creative vision and all that, because you want to understand all aspects of like what is driving this force of Josh Levi. So, I think it really is important for a lot of people out there too. It may seem tough or difficult at first. I know you can attest to this because when you're a true full-blown artist, like those things might just be like, whatever, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. But like, those are the things that can really either propel you or screw you in the end. So it is actually extremely important.
sometimes it's the most important. Sometimes like it's not even about the art. It's not even about like the music, because music is a business, unfortunately, which is what I hate about what I do. Here comes the part where I'm not as positive. Uh, I love music, man. I love having a gift that I can share, and I love creating things that people that I have never met can connect with and see themselves in. However, music is not just that anymore. Maybe it never was just that solely. There's a whole like business side of it now. So, well, there's a whole business side of it, period. So, in order to succeed and to thrive, you really do have to have an understanding of it, or you'll just get lost, or it'll like your punch won't hit as hard, or you won't reach as many people, or you'll get screwed. So it is like an imperative part of it all. So I force myself to like, I pride myself on understanding an assignment and then determining to master that and figure it out. And for me, like I realized early as a kid, like, oh, this shit is not just about music. Like it's a whole other side to this. Like it's not as simple as me singing and me writing songs. Like, oh, it's like kind of complicated. So that also gave me like the enthusiasm to learn.
I love it. Well, you've been in the game, quote unquote, for a while. And I think that a lot of people, another thing that's important too, is like knowing how to play the long game and understanding that when you're committed to it as a career, um, you know, there is a longevity to it that is required. And I'm sure there was points when you questioned yourself or doubted yourself. And then there was other days when you were on top of the world. And, it's just a part of not only the artist journey, but also the human experience. In any industry, in any career, in any life, anyone will understand that it's all about ups and downs and ups and downs. And I think for you, with all the success that you've seen, even in the last year, none of that would be possible without those formative years of learning the ins and outs of the business, discovering who you are as an artist, how you want to communicate your story and your art. So yeah, like I want to stick to that era, when you were growing up and eventually you met Cooper. Cooper was just on the podcast a few episodes ago. I want to know, I don't think I know, but I want to know how you guys came together and eventually met, and how he became your manager.
Who's Cooper?
Cooper Wilson? The Cooper Wilson?
Ah, that's silly. Wilson,
Who
the
is Cooper? Yeah, who is Cooper Wilson?
dog guy that's always around. So my
Yeah.
guy, my
Yeah.
favorite guy. Man, how do we? So Cooper worked at this spot called Awesomeness TV, which is like a digital conglomerate. Like it was a YouTube channel. It was also like a show on Nickelodeon. It was a lot of things. And when I was on right after I was on X Factor, I was doing a lot of like YouTube covers and like just trying to build my fan base and put out a bunch of videos and stuff. And I eventually ended up like at Awesomeness TV, partnering with them and like them helping me produce content and just helping me kind of like reach my goals on the internet when it came to at that time it wasn't like TikTok and all this other shit. It was kind of YouTube's game. So he worked there and he was like a part of it, but also not a part of it. Like he was watching me my journey from afar. And like I said, I was like 15 around that time, 15, 16 maybe. Um, and then like we lost like that wasn't like too long. It wasn't like a bunch of years. Like I hadn't really seen him forever. And then fast forward, I ran into him like 2019, which is not even that long ago. It seems like forever ago though. And I was performing at this like benefit concert and last minute, which is so crazy. I found out like the day before. And I was replacing some artists that dropped out at the Roxy, and I did two songs, and I just was sound checking my songs. Which sound check is a whole thing. It's so funny because that sound check was stressful. Like I'm a huge sound check guy. I'm a huge like rehearsal guy. Like I like to make sure that my shit is right. That's like I'm not an angry guy. I'm very chill. I'm a very peaceful person. I'm a very spiritual person. Um, and I'm a Libra. I'm very balanced. There's few things that I'm like passionate about to where I you can see a little bit more like energy out of me. And when it comes to protecting my presentation and how I present myself, that's like one area. And so I say all that to say it was so funny because that sound check for this benefit concert, they were trying to cut short, and all the other people that went before me like had gotten their time with their band and all that. I didn't even have a band. I was just seen to track, and I was confirmed for this like a day before. So I was like, I don't know what these other guys got going on, but y'all gonna give me my 15 minutes that you said that I was gonna have before I got here.
You're like, you set me up for failure.
Man, and the songs I was singing I never performed before. They were original songs that were unreleased that were like super, super hard to sing. Cooper walked in as I was like talking and going back and forth with the sound people, like, hey, I need more time. I need my full time. And so he caught that, and then he caught like them giving me like 3 or 4 extra minutes to do one more song or the song one more time. And he was just like, what the hell? Is this the Josh that I saw when he was 15? And then he was like, he came up to me literally like as I got off stage for sound check. And he was like, what are you doing, bro? What is going on? Are you signed? Are you managed? What are you working on? Like, please just like, I just need to know what is going on. And I was like, it's so funny because I'm still like that now. I had just fired my manager. This
is like the universe coming together.
I just fired my manager, bro, and I told him I was like, I'm chilling, man. Like I just fired my manager. I have a bunch of songs. Like I've been creating basically a project without like intentionally like trying to make an album. I have a bunch of records that are cohesive that I've just been writing, and I'm just chilling right now. And he was like, got it.
Got it.
Can we basically can we work together? And I was open to it. I was like just a free agent at that moment, but I still believed in myself, and I still wasn't like desperate or like antsy to jump into anything. I kind of took my time and heard him out and told him like what my goals were. And fast forward, here we are, like just inseparable and like the same person in different fonts, which is dope.
Well, if you are listening now and you haven't listened to the Cooper Wilson episode, it's number 3. Go listen to it because Cooper really is. Not only is he just like one of the nicest people I've ever met, but he's also one of the hardest working. And it's rare to find people, especially in this industry, that are both. They're either one or the other. They're either really hardworking and they're very just not social, or they're very social and not very hardworking. Cooper is literally an animal. He is both. I don't think I've ever seen Cooper not in his element.
Right.
So, that is
Is indeed a rare human. Um,
absolutely, absolutely.
and it's such a blessing, bro. And I thank God all the time because Cooper is also my manager is also like an extension of me, and he's the first person that I've worked with that closely that is like an extension of who I am. So I still kind of pinch myself. I'm like, damn, this guy really gets it. Like he just understands me, but also he understands the business, but also he understands my goals and my vision. And then he pushes me, but he respects just who I am, just outside of like the career, outside of he understands Joshua,
Right.
not just Josh Levi. So it really is like he's great, man. He's great. He's like the best bald guy that I know.
Well, the other thing too with Coop is like he does, like you were mentioning too, he knows you as Joshua too, and like some managers look at you as just a performance artist or whatever and view you as a business model. But Cooper doesn't view people like that. At the end of the day, we're all humans and we have our lives and we have emotions and feelings and all that. And he's there for everyone on the business side of things, but also he's there for the personal side, the relationship side. And, I'll even just call Coop randomly just to like say what up. And we'll end up talking for like 30, 40 minutes just about life, not even anything business related. And so he's definitely a rare human for sure. And he's also, been there a lot recently for you when you've, signed, like, for example, you signed with Raedio, which is Issa Rae's label with Atlantic. You wrote music for Insecure. To talk about some of those early wins and how important they were to you, because like a lot of this industry too is about momentum and consistency. And for you, signing with Raedio and finding a label that really understood you as well and understood what you were wanting to do and how to kind of navigate that space with them. Talk about Raedio, that relationship, signing that deal, and also just working with Issa. I just had Benoni on a couple episodes ago too, and that's such a great crew. Like I love those guys. They're all very similar to Coop, where they're all very genuine. They see you as a human and not just a business. Talk about Raedio and Issa and Benoni and all that.
You've talked to all my people.
That's why I had to get you on, because I'm like, I love here's before you start, I love people in general that are just like you, that are genuine, like you. They're not putting on a show, they're not putting on an act. And that was like one of the things that I wanted to focus on with this podcast and these conversations, is having people on that were like just genuine people who at the end of the day, like outside of their career and what they're trying to accomplish in their career, they're just like amazing people. And hanging out with like you and Coop and all those guys, it's like you could like go have dinner with them or go hang out with you guys, and it's just like we're all at the end of the day, we're all like, yeah, exactly,
all the time.
yeah. So
No, you're like that too, man. I think that's why you gravitate towards those people, because you're also the same in that. But Raedio, Benoni, the whole thing, Issa, I think the smartest thing or the best thing that an artist can do is collaborate with, go into business with, and align yourself with people that are like-minded. And what I mean by that is that I think Raedio's whole mission is to do something new and to do something fresh and to do something excellent. And that's really all I care about. So that's why it was just a no-brainer, and it was such a beautiful a beautiful opportunity. And then Issa has history in creating things that are excellent and groundbreaking and cutting edge and just new and representing people. And again, that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I aim to do with everything that I do. And she also prioritizes culture and the voice of culture. And again, that's like something that's like a conversation that I have daily with the people that I collaborate with. I'm always thinking about the people. And Issa has done that so well and so successfully for a minute now. So that's when I knew I was like, this is a really great marriage, great partnership, like great opportunity. Benoni as well, like he I think we just have respect for each other, which is super dope. I've kind of yearned for that for a minute in my career. It's like I've always respected so many people, and then I think people have respected me, but they haven't like put energy into getting to understand me, understand my point of view, and help enhance that and help bring it to life in its best and purest form. I really feel like Benoni and Raedio is doing that. And like I have calls with each department of my team every single week. And it's just very clear, like if you were ever to listen in on the our conversations, it's very clear that they care about me and they care about what I'm passionate about. But on the flip side, they want the best for me and they push me and challenge me and just help me bring that to life in the best way possible. So that's my relationship with Raedio, um, as a whole in general. And even the way that it came about was very much so a God thing. A lot of things in my life, I think right now I'm in the era of my life of just focusing on being great, focusing on um, giving and focusing on just the craft and my relationship with God. And then in turn, I attract really great things. And Raedio is like one of the first of many over the past like 2 years that was like that. It wasn't something that I was chasing or striving for. Like, of course, Coop and we were like at that point a couple months in of like working together. We had conversations of like, do we find a partner now, or do we just keep doing this independently? At that time, I released disc one. Like some people were seeing and hearing what I was doing, and it was working at a small level. There was like progress being made. So we were like, do we want to keep doing this? Then also I was like, this is expensive, and I funded everything that everyone saw from me in that era by myself out of my own pocket. So that's the business side of it, right? It's like, okay, well, this is great because I can do whatever I want to do. I don't have to answer to anyone. Like I can just do whatever, just the shit that I want to do. But then it came down to like, okay, well, this is like a big investment. So do we want to do a partner or not? But when Raedio came into the picture, it wasn't like I was taking meetings or anything or like really chasing to be signed to Atlantic or to anyone. Like Benoni called Coop singing, don't they?
Yeah.
And that's not something I could have put together on my own or done in my own power. That was just God kind of connecting the dots, and a lot of things that have happened, a lot of good things that have happened to me. But that was that same exact situation. Turning Red, um, which is now Grammy nominated and makes me Grammy nominated, and like
I
that.
was just about to say you are officially a Grammy nominated artist. How does that feel?
It's still, I don't know. I still don't even really know how to feel about it. It's like weird, and I'm so grateful, but I don't know. I just wasn't expecting that from that opportunity. I didn't submit. What people don't know is I didn't even submit any of disc two or any of like my shit. Um, to be recognized or for consideration for the Grammys. So I wasn't even thinking in my head, wasn't even like Grammy recognition or nomination. Of course, that's one of my biggest goals is to be recognized by the Academy. But since I didn't submit any of my own shit, and then the Grammys posted Vices on my birthday, which is really dope because as like one of the songs that proved that R&B was still alive. So
Yep.
then when I saw that, which was like one of the coolest birthday gifts because that wasn't like something I pitched to them or anything. Um, I was like, oh shit, well maybe I should have like submitted some stuff of like R&B or whatever. Like I read the room and I'm all about moments and timing and stuff. So I want whenever I am recognized by them to be like a really dope moment of where I actually put a lot of effort in and I gave it my best shot. And with this too, I'm still like still articulating my point of view as an artist. And I got a bunch of wins with that, but it wasn't something that I was like, let's submit for the Grammys. So turning red and that song being a Grammy nomination and making me a Grammy nominee was unforeseen and unexpected and really, really dope. It makes me feel great.
Well, I mean, it's just a big accomplishment, but it's not the end too. Like I truly believe that you can get another Grammy for, your own music yourself too. And this is just the beginning. And like we mentioned earlier, even though you've been in the game for a minute, like it's only just begun for Josh Levi. And that's what makes me most excited too about you is it's just been an incredible journey to witness. And you had mentioned that Benoni had called Cooper humming one of your songs. I literally, to this day, every time I've been in the studio with you, I drive home, and within 5 minutes of my drive, I just instinctively am already humming either the lyrics or the melody that you've written that day. And I always say to Coop, I'm like, dude, I cannot get this Josh song out of my head. Like it's your music is just like not catchy in like a poppy or like viral way. It's just like I don't know how to explain it. It's just yeah, every studio session I leave in the car singing whatever you were recording that day in the studio. So
Hey,
um
that's the goal, man. That's like if I create something that speaks to the soul, that's like I feel like my job is done. Like I feel like I won already. Um, so I mean, yes, I do want to have like commercial success and I have goals just like everyone else does and all these things that I'd like to be a part of and like charts and records to break and all this stuff. But I think I've learned to be satisfied with someone just connecting or like someone feeling something from what I create. Because then I know like the rest will come and I'm gonna keep working hard so that it does. But if it speaks to somebody's soul or they feel something, then I'm getting started on the right path. Like I know that I'm on the way to do the things I want to do.
Amazing. Well, the Grammys are February 5th. So go watch them, and you are up for the best song written for visual media.
Yes.
So that's amazing. I can't wait to see that. And even the recognition is incredible. And yeah, like I said, 2023 for you, I'm excited. Do you have anything in mind that I mean, I'm sure you probably can't talk about a lot, but what are you most excited for about this year? Like, how have you felt? Um, what
Uh,
the mood is for this year?
the mood for this year is overdrive is like the word that I've been saying to Coop, my manager, and just like my family. Like I feel like people have started to hear a little bit more of what I'm trying to say and see a little bit more of what I'm trying to do last year. And for this year, if I use like the analogy of like I feel like I'm in the lobby and I push the button and the elevator is opening, but like it's taking forever. I really just want to get to the rooftop. If the building is like success and the rooftop is like the peak for where I see myself and like some of my dreams, I feel like I'm like in the lobby, at least I'm in the building. I want to get up to the top floor. So for me, that's how I see this year. I'm really willing to do whatever it takes. I have a lot of music that I've been creating. I've been creating more than I ever have. And I'm really passionate and I love what I'm creating. I'm trying to push myself, experiment some, and just really like find and create my best shit, put like my best work. Um, it's challenging because I have so many different inspirations sonically. So I'm really trying to find and create something that makes everyone happy because I'm inspired by so many things. And I know that like the people, my fans and the people that are watching and listening to what I'm doing are kind of diverse, and music, there's like a renaissance of R&B happening right now, which I think is amazing and I love. So I'm just trying to nail and hone in on my sound that I hear in my head and connect that with more people than I ever have in my whole life and my whole career this year. That's the goal. That's the energy. I want to perform more than I ever have. I did my first tour last year, which out of all the things like Grammy nominee, there's so many amazing things that happened last year. Selling out my first tour was the highlight of my entire year. So now I want to do that a million more times on a bigger scales.
Josh
Um,
Levi Arena Tour.
Gosh, Levi Arena tour, like this, just the thought of that is, it's dangerous. It's scary. That's like that's an experience right there. Like
Well,
that.
that is your superpower, is your performance. You know, we touched on this the first few minutes of our talk today, but I think Sage and I went and watched you play in San Francisco, and even watching you during sound check, the way that you articulated the sounds, and none of the songs that you performed were um just like, you didn't like have a DJ playing the track. Like there were live instruments there. And what was it? Is Jayhawk, right? Yeah, he sounded incredible. He was doing some solos on some of the tracks. Everything, it felt like a Super Bowl performance, but it was in this. Yeah, that's what
I remember you telling me
I
that.
think I told you that after the show. I was like, damn, dude, I felt like I was like at a Super Bowl halftime show. Like that was incredible. So the fact that you do that for, a smaller crowd, I can't only imagine the electrification of what it would sound like in, an auditorium or like an arena. I think that once that does happen, people are going to have such an amazing experience, just because you do care a lot about the live experience, which is important, because I get super disappointed when I have a favorite artist and I'll go see them perform and I'm just like, really? Like this is how like you're rocking the live performances? Because what I tell people in my medium, which is film, is whenever I do, whether it's a documentary or whatever it is, I always say like the visuals have to go just as hard as the music.
Sure.
Have you ever listened to a song that you can't get out of your head and you're like, this is amazing, let me go, I wonder what the music video looks like, and you go look at it and it's like the shittiest video ever and you're like, wow, this ruins the song for me.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's like every single experience has to be on the same level, and that's what's great about you, is like not only is the music great, but if you go see a Josh Levi show, it's like, wow, this is crazy. So
Thank you. Yeah, that's important to me too. We have the same mindset when it comes to that shit. And I've dreamed forever of like a Josh Levi arena tour. What's funny is that even when I make music, I keep that in mind. Like the songs that I like to make and the songs that I resonate with that I'm creating are the ones that I can see myself performing at that level. Like that's how I know I like something that I make. So I always tell people it's two things. It's if I see the music video and if I see the VMA performance slash like arena tour. If I can see myself performing that song, then that's like one that I want to be a single, or one that I want to create a music video to, or one that I want to move forward with. Um, so that's definitely like a main priority in my head.
well, I love it. I'm excited for more live performances from you. And before we go, I want to kind of do some quick fire questions. Just like you don't have to give a super long answer, but I just want to kind of fire them away.
Go for it. I'm so bad at this, but
They're going to be simple. They're super simple. The first one is what's your favorite song you've ever written? Why?
it is Heaven slash Nosebleed, and I'm gonna break the rules with these. I don't care. I know Heaven because I recently shared. I think it was today's Friday, so I don't know if that was this week or last week, but that the song is actually about my mom who has stage 5 kidney disease. As you know, you've like documented some of that for me.
Your mom
But
is one of the nicest, sweetest people I've ever met, by the way. She's incredible.
hey man, I appreciate that. She's my favorite person. So that song has a deep meaning, and I think it's like some of my best work lyrically. And then Nosebleed is also cool because I just love the concept. It's about feeling so far from someone that you used to know so well that it makes you feel like you're in the nosebleeds of a stadium and that person is like on the ground floor. Which I didn't even know. I guess is what happened with my parents. Is the story with my parents. I didn't. That's not what I how I the reason that I wrote it, but my mom was listening to it one day and she was like, "Oh, that's really happened with me and your dad." I was like, "Oh, okay." But
Love it.
those two songs are my favorite. I go back and forth.
Nice. What is your favorite album of all time? Like, if you could pick one album that Josh Levi has been influenced by the most by another artist, what would it be?
Oh, this is like where it's just like unfair.
There's too many.
Yeah, like I love Bad by Michael Jackson. I love Human by Brandy. Definitely. I think that might have been like the very first album I ever like dove into. And I love the Prince of Egypt soundtrack.
Amazing. What is your actually, you know what? I was gonna ask you what your favorite instrument is, but I think you already said it's electric guitar, right?
So electric guitar, I do play piano, but electric guitar is just like the sexiest, like it just turns me on. It just does it for me. It's the best.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For me, it was always slide guitar. I don't know why, but there was something about slide guitar that just was very
That's a good one
appealing.
too.
How do you handle writer's block? Like, do you have to put yourself in a situation where you try to make yourself inspired, or do you just say, you know what, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm just gonna wait until the time comes again?
I do not force shit, bro. Like I that's why I love Still Human so much because I'm constantly putting effort into reminding myself of that daily. When it's not flowing, it just isn't flowing. And I don't make that a bad thing. I just literally pause until it comes back to me. And I actually appreciate those moments because if sometimes when I go and I'm like, and God downloads all this stuff in my head for so long, it can easily feel like it can become sometimes robotic to where it's like I'm always just in the flow and I always can just create and produce and put things together and put yeah, but that's not really realistic. So I appreciate the moments where I'm just blank and blind and just ugly and I just don't force it. So during like my tour, I don't know if I've talked about this. During my tour in like Fashion Week in Milan and right before tour, I had no inspiration to create anything. I think probably because I was so focused on putting together like a really strong show, but it took me like 3 months to. I was in a writer's block for 3 months, and then I went to Atlanta to record and to write, and then I came out of Atlanta super inspired, and I was working and creating so much during December. I never work during December. I'm the biggest Christmas guy you'll ever know, you'll ever meet.
Love
So
that.
I just take December off. But I was creating hella shit during December. And that fled into January now. So I'm like really inspired at the moment.
Amazing. Well, I got a couple more for you. This one actually is my favorite one. I can't wait to ask you this. But what is the most unusual location you've ever written a song?
Unusual location. Huh. That's a good one. I have to think. Um, Words. A lot of times, like a song, I won't write a whole song in a moment. Sometimes I'll just have the concept that'll come to me, or sometimes I'll just have a word that like is the whole song. So, um, um, I wrote a song one time at the hospital, and I've written a song like outside of like an ambulance because I had to call 911 on this girl one time, and
That's
that's
episode 2 of our podcast. We'll talk about that. That'll be a two and a half hour long therapy session.
yeah, that's kind of like where a lot of my I wrote like 3 songs from that situation. So that was kind of dramatic and very just chaotic. Um, so I think that's my answer. There's probably more that I can think of because, like I said, words come to me and then I just write down the word and then I later like built a song from that. But this too came from a lot of chaotic emotions and like crazy situations, and so there's definitely some ambulances, some 911s, hospitals, and yeah.
I love it. Okay, I got one more for you.
I
Um, everything leading up to today, January 21st. In your opinion, what is the most memorable moment of your career so far?
of like the whole life.
Your whole life. It could be when you were young. It could be yesterday. It could be anytime, any place. Just the most memorable moment of your career so far.
I have a few. I think there's okay, so I have two, but they're kind of the same. So when I was on X Factor, my first audition in front of Demi Lovato, Kelly Rowland, Simon Cowell, and Paulina Rubio. I sang "Come and Get It" by Selena Gomez, and the way that those auditions worked, they were the televised audition, but before then you had to do like a bunch of auditions to even get to that point. And for the televised audition that everyone saw, that's like in a huge like arena, like not arena, but it's like in a huge theater. And it's full of people that just like love to watch TV show auditions. And I remember walking out on that stage and just kind of being nervous, but also like surprised by like this confidence and comfortability that I had. And even when I watch it, like I watch that video maybe once every 7 years. I cannot watch it a lot. Um, I
Let me pull it
appreciate.
up. Let me pull it. Get it. Pull it up. Pull it. No,
I literally
just
remember
kidding. I'm kidding.
the button.
And I would
um,
not. I wouldn't do that to you.
um, I felt so comfortable, bro. I felt so powerful, and I feel like that was my purpose to share my gift at like that was like such a at a big capacity because like I said, it was a theater full of people, so it basically was a concert, but like in front of judges and only one song. And I remember singing and telling the audience, like, put your hands up and wave your hands. And no one does that at an audition like that. They just are trying to impress the judges. But I wasn't even caring. I didn't care about the judges. I was so grateful to have like a bunch of people ready to receive something that I wanted to give. And that feeling, the closest feeling that I had to that was my LA show on my first tour on the Vices tour, and I hadn't felt like that in a long time, even though there had been years in between of performances and concerts and shit. It was like
Was
different,
that
whatever.
was that the peppermint show?
Yeah. Um, it was a packed room. I was actually over capacity and I didn't know until like the day of. And just having everyone there sing every single song, even like not just the popular ones, but every single song on my EP, knowing all the words and just giving me the energy back that I was giving to them was the closest thing that I felt to X Factor when no one knew who I was. So it's like two separate moments, but they like coincided in some way and were very special. And it kind of connected me with like my inner child in a bit and to a level. So that's my answer.
I like that, the inner child comment, because I'm gonna end it on this. Everything, it's kind of like the Virgil quote. They actually painted a mural of Virgil here in LA, on Beverly, and the quote next to the mural of him was, everything I do is like for my 18-year-old self. And I know that you're not a child when you're 18, but still in that time frame, a lot of us, when we, for you example, when you were on stage, you mentioned you felt that in that like childlike state, and
Mhm.
that's what's most important. That's like the most pure,
Yeah.
like just, that's purity right there. Like you
Yeah,
are
yeah.
just in your element, and it sounds to me like you are a natural born gifted performer. That's where you love to be on stage. You're obviously a great writer, great voice, great musician, but at the end of the day, when you're on stage, you feel like a kid. um, you
So,
you got the Fisher Price Toys R Us microphone in your hand, and in your
literally.
PJs. Mom's got the VCR.
Yep.
That's the childlike state. Well, Josh, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on. And like I said, I'm a fan of your music, and I love it, and I can't wait to see all the big wins this year for you. And like I said too, the Grammys February 4th,
Yep.
or 5th, excuse me, February 5th.
I don't even know.
Yeah, who knows, man? I can't believe it's already January 21st. It's just absurd. I follow this Twitter account that I've been following for like 3 years. And
Mhm.
every other day, or actually, I think it is every single day, it's like a bot, the automated tweet bot. And every day it shoots out a little graphic that shows you a bar with a percentage of how far along we are in the year.
Mhm.
And the way that Twitter has their like algorithm set up now is that instead of it being like in chronological order, it just feeds you your personalized
Right.
whatever. So it seems like every 2 or 3 weeks I see a tweet from that account. And one day it's, we're 2% into the year. Then I look again and it's we're 6%. Then we're 24% into the year. And then, October, November's rolling around and it's 70, 80%. And it always blows my mind. Um, I guess the reason I'm trying to explain is just like time, concept of time. I feel like the older we get, it's just bizarre. It's just very bizarre. So,
I'm grateful for my faith and belief in God because if I didn't have that, I would allow like the concept of time to like torture me every single day because it really is a bizarre thing. But
yep,
having faith and peace in the things that I cannot control and knowing that I'm taken care of and set up to win allows me to kind of just surrender to time and not let that like um, torture me or just make me anxious because life does go really fast and like there's so many things I want to accomplish at a younger age that I still haven't yet. But God can do anything, anything is impossible, and anything can happen. So
absolutely. Well, like the famous wise words of Ram Dass, be here now.
yes.
Be here now, enjoy the moment, the present moment, because it's gonna fade away. And yeah, Josh, I appreciate you, man. This has been a fun talk, and who knows, maybe we'll have to do one a year from now to check in on how this year went.
Yeah, that would be dope, man. I'll be able to talk about all the things that I said on this podcast and be like, man, remember when I said I wanted to accomplish that? Remember we just said Josh Arena? I literally just put it on sale yesterday and it sold out.
I love it. I'm a firm believer. But yeah, thank you so much, Josh. We'll talk again soon, and have an amazing year.
Yes, sir. You too, man. Appreciate you.